Last Tuesday, that is the 8th of September 2021, my brother Martin died. He had COVID-19. He had septic pneumonia, which is septic is basically it's like an infection that can move through your body and can kill you. 30% survive. If you don't die when you have it, after having it, 51% of those people die. It's so his chances were low, should we say anyway. It's one of those things that infection will move through your body. With him, it had gone down into his foot and was moving up his leg. When he died, they were talking about amputating his leg. You've got to do anything you can to stop it. It'll get to your organs, and your organs will start shutting down. I think that's probably what kills you, but I don't know. They don't think that. They think it was something to do with COVID that killed him, but there's no death certificate yet, so we don't know, and we can't positively say. But obviously, he had COVID-19. He had septic pneumonia because of COVID-19, because this is what happens. I wanted to share this because I think it's important to let people know what happened, to understand that how dangerous this thing is, and that there really is no protection from it. Not complete protection. Let me read you this. It's August 29th, and it was posted by my sister-in-law on Facebook. She says, "A warning, if you think COVID has gone away, think again. If you've stopped wearing your mask, think again. If you've stopped social distancing, think again. Currently, I am looking after both husband and son with COVID. So far, after 3 days, I am still clear, but I wait in fear of testing positive. After staying safely at home in the first wave and continuing with utmost care since then, brackets ask my customers at the post office, where a few laughed at me continuing to wear my mask. This house has succumbed to the virus." She did test positive within a couple of days of this. It took one slip up where a conversation with someone not wearing a mask, standing by the car about a metre away from Martin, has passed it on. This has meant isolation for us. Tom risking his job as a chef and stuck in his room for 10 days as he went down the day after Martin. And me as the runner. All my wonderful staff working extra to cover for me. Martin is another story. He has coughed, been horrendously sick. For 3 days. Had a temperature of 39.4, can barely get out of bed, cannot eat, has complete brain fog. I try to do the best I can. I have masks, gloves and aprons, thanks to someone donating them. It is awful for Martin, but as bad for me, standing by and watching and worrying. I have fear for him and me, and guilt for the one slip up of not keeping him safe. Wasn't their fault. Anyway, I'm not after sympathy. Lots of other carers have watched people die. At least Martin has had 2 jabs. Without those, I think Martin would have been in hospital by now. Tom one jab. At least so far he has no symptoms. I have my tent in the garden that I have as my safe haven for an hour with my mask off, with my knitting. What I want is people to learn not to let their guard down. This virus is horrendous to deal with, and I'm still very scared for both of them. Share as you like, Tina." Now, did I say my brother was diabetic, asthmatic, in a wheelchair because he had no feeling below the knee. This is diabetes. He had no feeling below the knee, and problems with his foot. He was very short-sighted, diabetes again. on dialysis, full proper dialysis. He was taking that at home. You had this sort of liquid, I think it's water, goes through your body, flushes it out, comes out of a tube. You do that. I think you have to do it every day, but or every morning. But I'm not up on that. I don't know. But yeah, he was at home. Um, did I say asthma? So I have a message as well from my brother, which I'm just trying to get to on my phone. It just turned off. Um, he said this is on the 31st of August. He said, "Hi, sorry to bring not so good news. I have COVID, going to hospital tomorrow. Call Tina for updates. M." It was at 7:30 in the evening. He went in, um, and the last time I heard from him, he went. The reason they eventually went in, because they do try to keep them at home, is chest pains. Could have been a heart attack. So um, it wasn't. I don't know what it was actually, but it wasn't a heart attack. But he went in by ambulance. Obviously, when you're in there, you stay in. It was a problem after that getting information. Actually, when you go into the COVID ward, they said doctors are too busy to phone, so you don't get any information. You don't get the information directly from the doctor. What happens? You get somebody called a ward clerk, which is basically an admin person who works on the ward. Um, you get a phone call every day with an update, but there's not a lot of information. You can't ask questions because you got this admin person, not a doctor, not a nurse, and so on. So my brother was in there. Sure, I'm missing things out that I wanted to say. So not so much information. But the day before he died, they told my they tell my sister-in-law that he was. They thought he was not improving, but not suffering as much as he had been. September the 6th. Hello everyone. Just had my daily update from the hospital about Martin, and for the first time the doctors have seen some improvement. The COVID infection has steadied today. While he's not out of the woods, he is now responding to treatment. I thank everyone for your thoughts and prayers during this awful time. The big man is still with us and still fighting. I am also feeling a bit better. Totally wiped out strength-wise and a bit breathless, but nonetheless, my own improvement has started. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all of your help, Barbara, and to all my neighbours who have offered help and support. Without you, all this would have been unbearable. I have a smile just for a while. He was asleep pretty much almost all the time. They couldn't get him off oxygen. He hadn't. He spoke to his wife, my sister-in-law, the day after he went in. That's all. After that, he couldn't. I don't know. I think he was sort of delirious, really. Didn't make any sense. So, therefore, didn't speak to anybody. Didn't phone. And now he's dead. Gone. I haven't stopped thinking about him. Almost every minute of every day. When I stream, I don't, which is good in general anyway. I don't much. I do things. My daughter was here until the 10th visiting, and so when she was here watching TV with her, being with her, I had to be the host, you know, and that kept me busy, but not anymore. So, I mean, I could rabbit on about symptoms and details of what happened and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, my reason for making this video is to say my brother had 2 vaccination injections about 6 months ago. AstraZeneca. He was not due for a 3rd jab, so just to say that. Okay, diabetic, always asthma. He'd been in isolation since the beginning because he's not well. He was never well, and you know he had to keep up with his home treatment, things like that. But he didn't go anywhere. He didn't do anything. Didn't see anyone. You see, his wife was still wearing a mask at work. They owned a post office. She owns a post office. And they were out in the car, saw a friend, ran down the window, said hello. Friend had no mask, 1 meter away. My brother's dead. That person, I suppose he didn't know he had COVID. Doesn't say that, but I suppose he didn't know. He was either a carrier or something. Even with the vaccine, even if you had 100% protection, and with AstraZeneca, I read somewhere 62%, but look that up. Protection. So you're not protected completely by the virus, the vaccine. What it does, it reduces the chance of you getting it, and if you do get it, the symptoms should be less, something like that. I don't know. You have to look it up. But 1 meter away, without a mask, my brother's dead. That's it. It's as simple as that. Here, I live in Spain. You don't here. I don't know everything about the English rules here. Masks are not. You don't have to wear a mask unless you're in somewhere that you cannot maintain separation. So, in other words, outside, you don't have to wear a mask. People, I would say, about 20% of the people are not wearing masks. So people are pretty good, but I mean, I am not terrified, but I'm scared now going outside because I don't know what I'm supposed to do to stay safe anymore. I went out with my daughter and my wife to have a coffee. Somebody came walking towards me along a narrow pavement without a mask. 2 people. I stopped, I turned and faced the wall, let them walk past, carried on. A couple of days later, I went for another coffee. I'm so fussy about which cafe I go to, or if I'm not separated, I don't go. If I don't stop, I have to have a table that is completely separated from people, and that's not with the my brother's nothing to do with my brother's death. That's me being careful. I always wear a mask outside. I don't care if it's spaced or not. So I was out again a couple of days after that. I was crossing the road. In England, they call them pelican crossings. You know, you press a button, wait for the little green light, the green man to show up. then you can walk. One of those. And I had my mask on. I started to cross, and there was with two people actually, but one who was walking without a mask directly in my direction. So I went sort of left diagonally. I thought, stay away. But then he started going, it's almost like he was still walking towards me. I put my arm out as far as I can. I didn't push him, but I touched him to keep him at some distance. Now, I'm not going to say it's the fault of anyone. It's just the world we live in. It happens. I'm not going to say it's his fault. But I mean, you take what you want from that. 2 jabs, 1 meter, dead. So I would only say, the only thing I would say is if you don't want to wear a mask outside, fine, respect and all that, you do what you do, but just stay away from other people. Respect people, but people who are wearing masks want some distance, and it's not about what the government say. It's about that person who's wearing a mask. I want distance. In fact, I don't care if I'm wearing a mask or not. Anybody you see, I think they say 1.5 meters, 1.5 meters. I would say 2 meters. Let's say that, which is the height of a fairly tall person. Imagine that person lying on the floor. Give me, and just keep it personal. Give me, that's how much distance I want from you. I don't care if you think you've got the virus, you think you have not got the virus. If you've had the vaccine, you can still carry the virus. You do not have to have symptoms. My nephew did not have symptoms, but he had the virus. So you don't have to have the symptoms to carry it. That's the point. So my brother's dead. My sister-in-law still has it, but is at home and coping. So I suppose, yes. So I suppose the point then, just give me that space. I don't care what you do to yourself, I suppose. And I would encourage others to say to the people they know or whatever, just give me a bit of space. It's about respect for me, respect for other people, whether you know them or not, doesn't matter. Some people will die because you don't keep that distance. I don't know what else you can do. I want to say masks don't protect. Those like rectangular paper ones, they don't protect at all. They stop some of the things coming out, the virus coming out, but not completely. They're not perfect. There's a better one. It's not perfect, but I don't know. I don't know what they're called, but masks are not perfect. Masks have to fit perfectly on your face, and they don't. So it can always get in. It's just about lowering the chance. Have a vaccine, gets it down to 60 or 90 or whatever. Wear a mask, gets it down a bit more. Keep your distance, gets it down a bit more. Wash your hands, gets it down a bit more. It's reducing the chance, doesn't mean you won't get it. So the rectangular ones, you can still spread it and all that. So having an injection doesn't stop you giving it to other people. Doesn't stop you getting. If you do get it, you might find that you don't die and you survive. The day my brother died, we thought he was doing a little bit better, and then apparently at 7:30 in the morning, he had a sudden spike in his temperature. Then, I know that he died at 2:30. I had a message at 12, a phone call from 12, at 12 from my sister-in-law to say what was happening, that they said less than a couple of hours and he'd be gone. So he went at 2:30, they got that right. I sent him a message at 12:30, he would never have seen it. Just a text, it said, love you. Now my sister-in-law was able to see him before he died. She said, I don't know, it's, you get information from people, it's not always clear. But it was something about, she had a special route by which she could travel into the hospital to see him. I don't know what that means. She sat with him. She said she stroked his hair. He was unconscious, of course. And they listened to music. Can't remember what it was. Sort of made me smile a bit because that was my brother. My brother was a very active guy. He was sort of rugby, bit of football, hiking, all that sort of stuff. He was very. Oh, here it is. Here's the message from my sister-in-law. He was asleep, with me stroking his hand and his brow, listening to Iron Maiden. There you go. My brother worked with some big. I don't know. I don't know if he worked with Iron Maiden. He did the sound, PA system. He had a company that did it years ago. He worked for other people who did it. He put up the PA system in Westminster Abbey. He worked putting together some sort of press room for the Prime Minister, things like that. He worked in the dockyard, the naval dockyard, as an electrical fitter. He was a very sort of physical guy, loving at the same time, not a softie. He was pretty hard, and we argued, but like you do. He's my brother. What do you think? That's all. So you're never safe. Take care of yourself. Just respect other people. And remember that even if you're not the next one to die, it could be your friend, it could be that person walking down the road who you were too close to. That's all I've got to say. Thank you.